Hello, welcome to Revelator Alf live show, live podcast radio show thingy. Anyway, tonight's show, I thought I'd come on and discuss a few things, and hopefully we're getting a good signal tonight. So let me just make sure that everything's working here. It should be. So I've doubled up on everything, and hopefully you're getting a good a good signal. Let us know in the comments, please, if you're having problems in seeing the image or hearing the audio. If you're having a problem in seeing the image for whatever reason, and you're watching this on a mobile device, you're using your data, just turn off the image so you can just hear the audio, and hopefully that'll save on your data. But tonight's show is all a little bit about the latest news, the latest bikes that have come on. I've sort of scoured through the motorcycle press the last couple of days, picking out some gems for you of some of the bikes and that are on offer. We're going to be talking Ducati. We're going to be talking a little bit Harley Davidson Livewell. We're going to be talking Arch Motorcycle as well, and a few products from some manufacturers as well. Quite interesting, I think, in that respect. But then we're going to get into the big debate of the night, or the topical issue. You know, do motorcycles, are they the best or the most appropriate vehicle as a bug out vehicle? The world's about to end. The big tsunami is about to crash over and, engulf the whole or swallow the whole country as a whole, as it were. You have to make it to high ground. What's your vehicle of choice? Is it motorbike? Is it horse? Or would you prefer just to be on foot? You know, let's say it's an attack of the zombies. You know, what's going to be your vehicle of choice? The world end. We start living in a dystopian world, whatever it is. And motorcycles are the vehicle of choice. So we're going to be getting into that, dissecting it a little bit, and seeing all the pros and cons. And obviously, I want your point of view as well. But as always, you can support the channel below just by a super chat, super thanks, and super stickers as well. You can just put those into the chat comments, or afterwards. You can go to the website, and there's merch, and there's a PayPal donate button there as well if you want to help support the channel. But none of that is absolutely important or obligatory. All you need to do is just watch and enjoy and take part in whatever you want to do. Okay, so again, hopefully you're getting a decent signal here. We're just going to crack on with this and just get on to what the show's all about. And it's all about all new bikes. Okay, so the first bike that we're going to be talking about, and I've got this all set up here for everybody, but the first bike we're going to be talking about is a new bike from the one and only and so I'm going to share the screen here for you as well, just so you're getting a good image of this as well. There we go. So this is from Motorcycle News, the new Ducati Panigale. I'm going to give you a bit of a close-up of this as well, because it is a really nice bike. I mean, they've basically taken this bike here, and they've pretty much taken a world superbike Ducati and it's a next generation bike, 240 horsepower Panigale V4R. I mean, just look at this thing. This is just, pretty special. If you like your sports bikes, if you like your Ducatis, of course. And they're basically, the report here says they're galloping headfirst in 2023 World Superbike season with a new Panigale V4 R. Special pumping out claimed 237.2 brake horsepower in track ready trim. So, I mean, this supremacy looks set to continue in 2023 with a new bike promising more power alongside more advanced aerodynamic chassis components. I mean, it was pretty hot in 2022. Now 2023, capable of revving out. Listen, it's revving out at 6,500 RPM in top gear, and so it's it is quite the spectacle here. This one. So let me just put you on full screen here. I'm just gonna make this full screen so you can actually see where I'm getting this from as well. Ducati say that this power hike is aided by new oil delivered in partnership with Shell. Okay, it's interesting. I think that's just a bit of marketing speak there, which is said to reduce mechanical friction by 10% and boost power by as much as 4.4 brake horsepower at the rev limiter. Well, that's a bit interesting, isn't it? But it's not just new liquid sloshing around inside the motor. Yeah, the Bologna factory have added a set of gun-drilled titanium con rods. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. It's got an 800-gram lighter dry clutch. It's got... It's not only about the engine, it's got manually adjustable Öhlins, pressurized forks, semi-active, isn't used in racing, with 5mm travel increase, adjustable Öhlins shock absorber. It's a TTX36. I mean, it does look just awesome, doesn't it? It just looks like an awesome bit of kit, really. I mean, electronic overload, as you would imagine with these bikes now, they're just, heavily packaged up with all the traction control and whatever, revving control, anti-wheelie, all that sort of stuff, you would imagine. But look, that's the Ducati. I mean, let's just have a look at that again, because that Ducati, I'm not the biggest fan of Ducati, I've got to say. I've never been a Ducatisti, as it were. But I've got to say, I mean, this looks pretty special. It does. It looks pretty special. And if I were in the market to get something that is almost for the road, that is almost like that in a couple of years, I think it'd be very enticing. It'd be something that you'd be really interested in. Okay, so that's the Panigale. Ducati, very, very nice. Who should we talk about next? Well, let's talk about Harley Davidson. Well, Harley Davidson to a certain degree. We're talking more about Livewire, their Livewire subsidiary company now, or the company. They're producing their own Livewire bikes, the Livewire 1, which is the original Harley Davidson Livewire, but also the Del Mar as well. And they were recently put onto the stock exchange in the US. The stock took a bit of a hit, actually. I think it affected Harley Davidson for a while there as well. I'm not 100% sure how it's doing now. It's probably recovered a little bit. But they've taken some interesting steps, let's put it this way, Harley Davidson, with this Livewire project. And I'm not overly convinced by it. I'm not overly I'm not thinking that it's something that the rest of the world needs to be concerned about, let's say, or fearful of, that Harley Davidson Livewire, the company, are going to smash the electric bike world. I think it's going to be a lot of developments in the next couple of years. As we all know, this is going to be like quantum changes all the time. But with new manufacturers come on, as I reported the other night, Kawasaki just about to come online with electric bikes, possibly. Yamaha are looking to put more bikes out there now. So it's not just a one horse race, as it were, for the big boys, the big players, as it were. But let me have a look here. I'm just going to show you the screen. Motorcycle news again, live. Again, they've talked about the floating of the company, really, more than anything. But this is quite an old story. This is, I kind of talked about this a long time ago. Harley Davidson teaming up with Kymco on the Livewire electric bikes. It's quite an old thing. I mean, the problem with the way they floated the company in the US is a bit of an odd one. I don't fully understand it, I've got to say. But under the new structure, Livewire is free to do what it likes, which from the offing appears to develop electric drivetrains for HD and Kymco, as Kymco invested £100 million. So, Livewire, the company, will not only produce bikes, but they're producing technology. That technology will not only go into Harley Davidson bikes, but it's also going to go into other manufacturers as well. It could well be that Livewire will provide the motor for Kymco's Super Next and Revo Next Superbike and Super Naked electric bikes. This is, I mean, look, it's hardly surprising that this is going to happen. The bike is instantly recognizable from the Harley Davidson version launched in 2019, but now comes in black or white without the famous bar and shield. Yes, so this is the Livewire now, the Livewire 1, as it were. So this is, excuse me, the Livewire 1. Yeah, fully branded in their own colors, as it were. That means you get the same 104 brake horsepower, 146 mile claimed range, six axis IMU controlled electronics, 1 hour fast charge time, and a haptic heartbeat vibration idle. I still think now that those figures are a little bit behind the curve. The problem with electric bikes and this kind of technology now is that it is moving so fast. So it's almost like as soon as it comes out to market, it's almost out of date really quickly, I would say. You've got other manufacturers who are producing a lot more torque, let's say, or claimed horsepower, equivalent horsepower, a better range, better charging, all that kind of stuff. Already. So and this is going to affect all electric bike manufacturers. I am sure of it. But the biggest change will be felt by your wallet as the price looks to be drastically reduced compared to the HD version of the bike. UK prices haven't been announced as the Livewire 1 won't make it to non-American markets until 2022. This is a bit of an old what's the word I'm looking for? An old story then, but the US price is $21.99. Yeah, I mean that's it's about 14,500 here. That's getting on for half the 28,000 the Harley Davidson version. Look, with import taxes and everything like that, if this bike is ever sold in this country as a standalone Livewire product, I think this is going to be a little bit more than that. I mean, I do like the look of it, especially now in the white or the black color. I really do like the look of it. From the Harley Davidson version or this, I really do like it. It's just again, it's the range, it's the price, and all that kind of stuff. But it's a powerful bike, no doubt. Right, so that's Livewire or Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson haven't really, they haven't really come out with any good news recently. There's nothing really developing. There's nothing really coming out as yet. And I think this is what it is. They've got this strategy, as we know, that they're not doing autumn reveals of their bikes or their new models. They're going to wait until January, and that's what's happening. January is going to be the thing. So Harley Davidson, just like in the last couple of years, this time of year, they're very quiet. We've got a couple of big shows coming up here in the UK over the winter period. Well, one before Christmas, one after Christmas, and or a couple after Christmas as well. And Harley Davidson are always really almost not even at the races, if you know what I mean. They're not there. They're there in spirit. Certainly the one before Christmas, they're there physically, I should say, but there's never any new stuff anymore. It's all kind of stuff that we've already seen before. So you kind of question, well, what's the point you even being there? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes, I mean, and that's what my thoughts. I just hope that they launch a show with a new reveal or a new product, or they start talking about different things as opposed to just having their bikes on display. The whole point of going to a show is that you're looking at what is coming out, what's the new stuff, and I think that's the interesting thing. I mean, there's a couple of other stories here from. Let's just go to. If I just go back here, I'm going to bring you on to another story here. This is from. I'll get onto that in a moment. Again, this Tromox Uco, the Uco S, a new small, fast, light electric bike. Again, it's virtually every other week there's a new manufacturer, there's a new bike, there's a new variant, new electric bike coming out. These are the ones. These are the kind of the new bikes, or I say the new generation of bikes have got the removable batteries, small batteries that you can remove. And a lot of the manufacturers now, they've all joined forces to go with a standardized or a universal type battery, and this is going to be the name of the game for certainly the smaller bikes in the future. And when I say in the future, in the very near future. So that's that one. There's another one here, the Bajaj. So this is from the Express Drives, and Batesy talked about the Bajaj. Let me give you a little picture here, enlarge that for you. They've got this called the Dragster, which is a 250. First of all, the Bajaj Pulsar, the N250 Naked Street Fighter, and the Pulsar F250 semi fed motorcycles were launched in India in October last year. Both of them powered by a 249 cc single engine, four-stroke single overhead cam, oil-cooled, fuel-injected engine. Will the Bajaj Darkstar be a quarter-liter adventure motorcycle or some other offering? So they're basically coming out with they've got some patents of this new variant. Bajaj, obviously a big Indian motorcycle manufacturer. I've always questioned why Bajaj are not exporting their bikes to Europe. Certainly, because I think they'd be a big seller, and maybe they do. Maybe they have plans to, as well. But to say there's there isn't a lot of. They've got this new bike, say, coming out of this Darkstar. It's going to be a 250 variant. So looking at some adventure bike as well, possibly a smaller competitor to the Royal Enfield Himalayan as well. So this is something that, as I say, watch out. I keep on saying, watch out for the Chinese manufacturers and the Indian manufacturers of the bikes that they're bringing out, how they're looking, the technology that they're using, and the price points as well. And again, small ADV type bikes. A lot of Chinese, Korean manufacturers have already done it. The Indian manufacturers now they're following suit in producing like 125, 250, 300cc mini adventure bikes, as it were. So that's something, to consider there. Okay, so that's Bajaj with their new Darkstar. So here, and all the other story that came out here was Yamaha. Yamaha have launched with electric bikes as well. They've come out with this, and so there's more, and they look pretty good. I mean, if you like electric bicycles, I mean, it's all pretty good. I'd say, we were saying about this a couple of years ago, where the likes of Harley Davidson and Triumph were leading with some of their electric bicycles. But then we saw that lots of other manufacturers were doing it as well, starting to do it. A lot of the European manufacturers, Ducati, Fantic, that kind of thing, producing electric bicycles. And indeed, some were just producing bicycles. So it's funny how the whole circle, comes around. They, all these old manufacturers started off as bicycle manufacturers. Then they moved into motorized bicycle manufacturing, and then into full motorcycling. I'm talking, 100 plus years ago, 120 years ago, or whatever it is. But say Yamaha have now joined the family, as it were. But and it's not just. I mean, here's the thing: it's not just um, bicycles that Yamaha are getting involved with right now. They're also getting involved in light aircraft production. Yeah, they've joined forces with this other company. I'd have to get my emails out. It's Shinmeiwa. That's right. And they're going to produce this light aircraft, or it's going into testing, I should say. It's into testing, little light aircraft, and that's it. But I thought it was quite interesting. But there we go. So Yamaha aircraft. Yamaha are also looking at their electric bicycles, but also they got new products coming out as well. So there we go. So that was an interesting one there, I thought, for the Yamaha news of the day, as it were. Okay, let me just talk about the other manufacturer here, and I'm gonna have great delight in putting this on for you, because this is art. Arch motorcycle. I remember when I had the My Magazine, and one of the first articles I wrote was on the newly formed, newly released, I should say, newly formed company, newly released prototype from Keanu Reeves's motorcycle company, Arch Motorcycle, the KRGT, as it was, then KRGT1. And I love the look of it. I wasn't sure about the ergos of it and anything like that, but I like the look of it. But anyway, listen, let me just show you some of these photos that have that they've got of this, because it is it is a really nice bike. It's okay, so that's a bit of a rear end view, that's a bit of a front end view there, lots of different pictures. Still the same, but they've obviously changed things up in terms of peg position, stance, tuning, all that kind of stuff. And so it's all. It looks. Again, I just like the look of it. It's if it wasn't for the price tag, which is way beyond my reach, it's just an interesting one. So here we are. This is. Let's have a look here. What magazine this is from? This is from Autoblog. 2 liter V twin. This is obviously the Arch Motorcycles, obviously founded by Keanu Reeves and Gard Hollinger, the motorcycle designer, custom designer. Has launched its second model, the 1S. These are all hand built bikes, of course. I wonder. And these are bespoke. They're tailored to the rider as well. I wonder how many they sell a year. It'll be interesting to see as well. As Honda just says, you sit on it, not in it. These are elements that are unabashed American, like a Monster V-twin. The SNS downdraft fuel injector motor, built to Arch specs, is a whopping 2 liters and churns at 122 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheel. The company does not disclose brake horsepower figures, probably because you're buying this really for the look and a bit of performance. I mean, we're not talking sports bike performance, but it's going to be pretty decent. First feature, unique billet aluminium backbone and side plates with thin carbon fiber supports comprising the rest of the frame. The effect is one where the engine almost seems like it's on a pedestal for display, with the rest of the bike draped around it, thanks to the composite dry weight comes in at only 563 pounds. So in terms of V-twin motorcycles, this isn't as heavy as you would think. Suspension, Öhlins forks and shocks, Bosch ABS system, 6-pot caliper, brakes on the front wheel, brings 17-inch carbon fiber wheels to a standstill. There we go. I mean, it just does look really, really nice. Let me see if I can just flick over a few of these pictures for you. I mean, it does really look really nice. I say I'm a big fan of Arch Motorcycle. I've got to say. I mean, if it wasn't the price tag, which I'd never be able to afford, I think we're talking about 70, 80, 100,000. I'm not sure if £100,000, but it's or dollars rather. But it's whatever it is. They're very expensive, but also very very nice. So that's Arch Motorcycle. They got their new bike, the 1S. They got a couple. They got the other KRGT, but they got variants of that. But this is now a newly worked bike, as it were. As I say, Arch Motorcycle. Right. Let's get into a couple of other things now. I'm going to talk a bit about. Oops, sorry, wrong for some reason. There we go. We're going to get rid of that. And oops, there we go. I'm going to talk about a couple of products from Dainese and from Alpinestars. So let's just talk about Alpinestars first of all. They've got this Tech Air 3 jacket cum airbag system. And you know they're raging about. Again, this comes from Motorcycle News. Got lots of photos of how it deploys and the instant protection that it gives you. Pardon me. But the interesting thing here is that, you know, basically save your life in a blink of an eye, yada yada yada, all that sort of stuff. But they're saying it's small enough to pack away in a rucksack or under a seat of a scooter when you aren't riding. So because it's all air, and obviously they've got some canister in there, you know, if you're not using it, you don't want to be walking around with it. You can just unzip it quickly, take it off, you know, put it in a rucksack or whatever, little bag, and away you go. It says Alpinestars say the system has been developed and refined with millions of miles of riding data. Okay, millions of miles of riding data. Really? Well, how many millions of miles? That's a very interesting thing to say. Millions of miles. Well, who's been riding around with these strapped to their backs and riding for millions of miles? How many bikes, how many riders have they done? I'm not so sure about that. I could be wrong. It just seems like a gross exaggeration. The result of all this brain power monitoring is a system which will inflate the airbag in 50 milliseconds. For comparison, a blink of a human eye takes 100 to 400 milliseconds. Okay, so super quick. Alpinestars Media and Communications Manager. We wanted to hit the market with something that could suit every rider, but it doesn't have to be. But it does not have a built-in back protector, unlike the 5 and 10 models. It can be packed away quite small under the seat of a scooter or in a backpack. Let's have a look. I'm just saying what the technology continues with LED display indicating the system's operational status, which becomes active automatic via the magnetic diagonally orientated zip closure. An alert vibrates to confirm the system is armed, as well as alerting the rider when the battery is running low. And it's got about a 40-hour battery life. And it weighs, it weighs nearly 2 kilos. Well, 1,725 grams. It's it's the detail, and there's basically 4 chambers cover the chest and 5 chambers cover the back. They are linked by an over-the-shoulder chamber, giving extra protection to the collarbone. The argon canister has a 5-year shelf life, so it's argon. It's being filled with argon, which is quite interesting there. Okay, so that is the Motorcycle News and the Alpinestars Tech Air 3 air vest. Here's the next one. Here is Dainese. Dainese have got a new well, it's not new per se, it's just something they're saying. There's a report here from, now what's this publication, The Drive, and let me just share that with you guys as well. The Drive here, Jonathan Klein is reporting Yeah, he admits that it's, this is like a summer riding jacket, but you can still wear it, I suppose, in wherever you are. It's built around the brand's D-Air airbag tech with woven textile fabric, armor, and good look smart jacket. So this is the now what is it called? I forgot what it was called. It was the jacket, the Smart Jacket LS Sport. So it's really, they're saying it's a summer jacket, but I'm sure you could wear this all year round as well. Let's have a look here. So yeah, done his marketing just deployed to worm many hundreds of dollars out of me. Okay, so let's just have a look. What you get in Smart Jacket LS Sport has an outer construction of the brand's Magello textile. It's lightweight. The entire jacket weighs 4 pounds. So 4 pounds is just under 2 kilos. So comparable to the Alpine Stars there as well. Like other motorcycle textiles, Magello designed to drag across the cheese grater pavement, save your height. Yeah. But there's level 2 armor on the elbows and shoulders, and as mentioned above, the Smart Jacket is also equipped with Dainese D airbag, which envelops the rider's chest, back, and neck when the system detects a crash. Okay, so it's interesting. 26-hour battery life. You can charge your USB-C port. Exceeds CE2 level 2. I'm just trying to see what's the inflation time. It doesn't say. Through an oven. Yeah, it's got. But basically, it's a high level jacket, as you can guess. Arena above, he loves it. There are hosts of excellent summer jackets on the market. Companies like Alpine Stars. Okay, yeah, he quotes some others, but this is an expensive one. But they aren't inexpensive. The Dainese one. This is an American-based publication, by the way. $859.95. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of money for one of these jackets. I mean, you've really got to be fearful, I think, and also not fearful. You've really got to be thinking hard about that price. But if you value that level of safety, then yeah, there's no price on safety, is there really? I mean, that's what you got to think about. There is no price on safety. But anyway, look. So there, we've had the Panigale tonight. Beautiful bike. The live wires, I still think look good, and the Arch motorcycle, looks great. India coming on strong with their Bajaj bikes as well. Yamaha coming out with electric bicycles, and this is the one that tickled me most of all, the little airplane that they're working on. But Dainese are coming out, and Alpine Stars as well with their air jackets as well. These are evolutions really of jackets, aren't they? Rather than actual new products or new technology. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that to you. I mean, that was all about this. Yes, you just saw all new products. There we go. So that's a roundup for new bikes tonight, and I'm going to talk a little bit now about the topic of the day. Okay, so what's the story, Biker Glory? What is the story tonight? The story is this. I read a story. I saw it's a short story a couple of weeks ago, where they were, and in the short story they're talking about a kind of dystopian end to the world, and they basically there was some remark was saying, we need to get into the mountains or something. We need to get away from people, away from civilization, right? And they say, well, we've got our trucks and everything like that, and they basically said, no, we're going to go on foot. We're going to leave all that behind. We're going to go on foot. We're leaving everything behind. And I kind of wonder, I thought, why would you want to go on foot? Because it's going to take you ages to get there. And think, well, that's the obvious choice, isn't it? The obvious choice if you want mobility in when the world is ending, let's say, or there's zombies everywhere, that kind of thing. You need to have a mode of transport that is going to be the safest, but also the most dependable. And the most dependable is going to be just you moving under your own power, isn't it? Then on top of that, you're going to need something that can take you a lot quicker, a lot further, but is also going to be dependable. Well, then you're talking about a bicycle. Yeah, you could say that. But if you want to go over real rugged terrain or go, over hills, mountains, that kind of thing, on trails, you're looking at a horse. And I've heard this said many, many times before. Best bug out vehicles are horses, and going back to the old days, horses you use all the time, or donkeys, right? They go anywhere. So let me just stop sharing that. There we go. So this is the interesting thing here with this notion. What is the best vehicle? So, you watch a lot of these kind of the world is coming to an end programs or films, and invariably, like the Mad Max type thing, invariably you have vehicles being used, or you have motorcycles being used, and you just kind of wonder, motorcycles are actually the right vehicle of choice, really. At some point you're going to need petrol, just like any car, but you're not really able to carry much fuel with you, are you? Well, you suppose you could a little bit, but not as much as if you had it in a car or in a truck or a 4x4. So from that point of view, then motorcycles have never been the most practical, but they are a good way to get out and about. And I mean, you see some of these disaster films, and let's face it, everybody wants to get in their car, everybody wants to get away from the danger or get away from the cities. The roads block up really, really quickly. So, yes, a bicycle or on foot or a motorcycle is going to be the way to go. I mean, not everybody's got a horse, but you probably get hold of a motorcycle pretty quickly. What kind of a motorcycle? Well, I would say something relatively small is going to be your best bet, really. That is fast enough just to keep you going, but you don't want it to be like a big tour, a Harley Davidson or something like that, especially if you're having to fight your way through traffic. So you want something that's really small, a little trail bike, a little a little motocross, a little trail bike, 125, 250, something like that, or a smaller scooter type deal. I mean, for me, that's what I would say is going to be your best bet. The bigger the vehicle, the more problems that you're going to have. You want something that's lightweight, utilitarian, utility-like. Something that can go a bit off-road. Because let's face it, the roads are going to be problematic. You might have to go off-road, you might have to go over obstacles, that kind of thing. Are you just taking yourself, or are you going to take somebody else with you? So you need something that can carry two passengers, or to carry two people quite easily, carry bags with you, obviously taking fuel, that kind of thing. You also want something that is going to be relatively easy to fix, easy to work on, that kind of thing. So I forgot what the program was called, but one of the best programs I saw where motorcycles were being used in this kind of end of the world scenario, and aliens had invaded and they were fighting the aliens. I forgot what the program was called, but basically the group that were in, they had a couple of them. They were like scouts, and they go out on scouting missions, and they'd be using motorcycles, but they'd be using old motorcycles like CB400s or CB500s or 250 trail bikes and stuff like that. Really, old simple bikes that you could work on, and they just kept on going. I mean, I've talked about this in lots and lots of times where talking about bikes that have to be rugged and have to go off-road and everything like that. You don't necessarily need a big adventure bike. You definitely don't need that. You definitely don't need a motocrosser or a full-on enduro bike. You need something that's lightweight, easy to fix, and you can just go anywhere with it. Put some knobbly tires on, let's say, and you will go anywhere. So now, for me, that would be the best bug out vehicle. But as I say, I thought it was an interesting one. I thought it was an interesting one when they were talking about would any other vehicle be better than going on foot? Well, I think you would, of course, because you'd be able to get out of there a lot quicker. you'd be able to carry more people with you, or you'd be able to carry infirm people with you. You'd be able to carry supplies with you. So you want something that's going to be better than it's on foot. So what about a bicycle? Well, I suppose a bicycle, but you wouldn't get very far. And also you're really exposed, just like being on a motorcycle, aren't you? You're being exposed to the elements, you're exposed to threat and danger and all that kind of stuff. So, would any kind of bicycle be a good option? Well, I think a motorcycle would be much better than a bicycle in that regard. I think because if you're trying to get away from people, and trying to, going over rough terrain for a longer period, I think something like a motorcycle is going to be better. A horse, I think you would revert back to horses and stuff like that. I remember you watch some of these programs, some series, some films where there is like an energy crisis or an energy blackout or an electrical blackout. So everything grinds to a halt. Society descends, unravels really quickly. And that's the biggest thing for me. If you lose energy, if you lose the power to heat people or give electricity to people, all of a sudden, they can't use vehicles, they can't use things at home. You go back to candlelight, lighting fires, and guess what? You're back on horses, and that's the way it is. And that's possibly the greatest argument to say that the horse is probably the best bug out vehicle out there. The motorcycle, because the horse can get anywhere. The horse will be able to go in between cars, on road, off road. You'll be able to go through trails, up trails. You'll be able to carry supplies with you, all that kind of stuff. Where a motorcycle is always going to have limitations. A car is probably, it's not a great option, is it? A 4x4, possibly. A pickup, yeah. A van, possibly. But certainly, I think a pickup and a 4x4 are going to be your best option in terms of cars. Again, you want something that's rugged to do that kind of thing. But I think if you're talking about motorcycles being bug out vehicles of choice or anything to protect you against, when we talk about zombies, I'm not talking about zombies. I'm talking about the Walking Dead type scenario, where the Walking Dead is not about zombies. For those of you who haven't really gathered that, it's actually more about the struggles of people and how they work together or fight against each other, how society breaks down when something external affects you all. And that's what the Walking Dead is all about. The Walking Dead are the people themselves. They are walking dead, they're dead men walking, really, or dead women walking, really. But yes, the zombie thing is kind of a side plot, really. And most of these zombie films or most zombie scenarios that's a side plot, really. It's the panic, it's the terror, it's how you as individuals cope with that kind of scenario. And I think, when you're talking about vehicles to use to get out there and get away from danger, or whether it's a zombie, whether it's rioting, that kind of thing, you need something that's going to get you out of there fast, and everything. So, I mean, look, if it was me by myself, my first choice would be a motorcycle to get out of the way, be a motorcycle. If I'm taking my other half or my child or children or anything like that, or I need to get somewhere to take supplies to, it won't be a motorcycle. It'll be a 4x4 or a pickup. But anyway, let us know in the comments below afterwards. But I thought that'd be an interesting one to end on tonight, just to go through a couple of things. What would be your best bug out vehicle, your vehicle of choice, if the society were to fall apart and the world were going to end? Hopefully it never will, but you never know these days, do you? But anyway, look, let us know. Thanks for watching, thanks for joining in tonight, and I say not really getting into the comments tonight or anything like that, but I say hopefully if you watch this later, you'll appreciate some of the graphics. I am going to be adding more and more to that as well. So tonight was also a bit of a test. It's also to see I think one of the reasons I was having a problem last night and a couple of other previous nights with the internet connection and the video quality, I was actually going through another box, another splitter box, and I think I've just basically taken my supply out of the splitter box, come straight to the computer now, and I think it's working a lot better. So hopefully the video quality is okay for you and the audio is okay for you at least, and maybe the topic wasn't the best. I'll give you that, but at least we got to see a few bikes. We got to see that Panigale, we got to see the Arch motorcycle, their 1S, and the live wire, obviously a bit of an update from the company there as well. But as I say, a couple of new products there from Alpenstars and Dainese as well. Interesting products, I would say. I wouldn't say fantastic, but interesting products. Say it's a bit of a damp end to the week, I would say, in more ways than one. It's been raining here where I am today and tonight, so it's a bit damp, but not a lot to write home about, I would say. So, but anyway, listen, have a great weekend, whatever you're doing. Ride safe. So there's I've been out and about this morning making more videos. I've been coming up with a few more fixes for my bike as well, and things I didn't really want to do. I think I found the solution to a problem that I've had with the bike, and it's been bugging me for about 3 years, and I didn't know what it was. This is on the Harley, by the way, but I think I eventually found out what it is. There'll be a video coming out about that, and I'm hoping that my solution has worked. I'll need to find out tomorrow because I'm letting it do its magic overnight. But anyway, that's all to come. There'll be another video on Monday, then another video on Friday as well. As I say, I've been editing this afternoon another video, so I'm on a couple of days off from my day job right now, so I'm sort of trying to get a few bits and pieces in the pipeline for you guys as well. Still planning on doing minimum 2 videos a week. I think when I say minimum, I think that's what it's going to be, 2 videos a week. One on the Monday morning, one on the Friday morning, and then I'll do live shows as and when I am able to do them. But I say hopefully you'll enjoy those. Hopefully you'll come back and watch these live shows as well. And hopefully you'll come back and join in as well. But for a future live show and any sort of topic, I say, if there's a lot more news coming out, or certainly, I really want to talk about new products from Harley Davidson. I'm chomping at the bit. I'm chomping at the bit for things like Indian. I'm chomping at the bit things like Triumph. As well, but I'd like to see a lot more bikes as well. And I say a couple of weeks ago, I was having daily updates of all new products from certain manufacturers. I think quite a few of my accounts expired on my press release accounts. So I've been trying to update those as well. So I kind of might have missed out on quite a few already. So that's why I'm going through the industry press here, not industry press, but the motorcycle press, and pulling out pictures so you'll have a better view. But again, trying to promote these publications as well. So always mentioning where these stories come from as well. But anyway, listen, that's it for tonight. As I say, it's nearly 50 minutes. I think that's for a Friday night. Go and enjoy yourselves, and that's what I will be doing right now. It's just gone just about 9:20 in the evening, and all I can say is thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the music. See ya.